right. Thank you, Chris, for playing us in here. And good evening to everyone watching us live here at our Thursday night hymn sing. These are always so much fun to put together, always so fun to do. They're especially important on days like today where it's been raining for what feels like 6 days. I mean, it really does. And so let's hope we pick some sunny hymns, some cheery hymns, some good stuff today. Just get our voices going. I hope you're singing in your homes. Chris, how are we doing?
With what?
Just life. How's life going?
There's your answer.
There you go.
It's raining here too. I think we've had a little bit more rain today than you've had down there based on what we were talking about before. But I was saying to Max earlier, my house is on one of the highest elevations in Baltimore County, and I've got standing puddles in my yard all over the place. It's just crazy. So
to everyone on the church council watching, the church is not flooded yet. I'll do a check partway through. We'll let Chris play something and I'll go check downstairs to make sure we're still dry. That'll be our running update for today. Anyway, Chris is going to get us started with a great classic hymn just to get our voices going. This is Holy, Holy, Holy Lord God Almighty.
Yeah, it needs no introduction. Let's just do it. But did you hear that frog? Yeah, that's really good. So y'all might be on your own. If I start the verse and don't sing, just keep singing. All right, 64, Holy, Holy, Holy. First one. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, early in the morning our song shall rise to thee. Holy, 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 merciful and mighty, God in three persons, blessed Trinity. Verse 2. Holy, 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 all the saints adore thee, casting down their golden crown around the blessed sea. Cherubim and seraphim falling down before thee, which wert thine heart and ever worship thee. Verse 3. Holy, holy, through the darkness hide thee, for the eye of sinful man thy glory may not see. Only thou art holy, there is none beside thee, perfect in power, in love and purity. Last verse. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, all thy works shall praise thy name in earth and sky and sea. Holy, 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 merciful and mighty, God in three persons, blessed Trinity.
That is a hymn's hymn. You know what I mean? Like that is like if you were like, if an alien came down and was like, what is a hymn? I would play Holy, Holy,
about
Holy.
an alien invasion tonight. That's part of the conversation Max and I were having before we went live here. So maybe we should start letting folks tune in earlier.
We did discover UFOs. There were UFO videos, and that was like second page news. So this is the world we're in right now. Anyway, the next one, Chris is going to have an exciting setup for the next one. So I'm going to go to just the me view here for a second. Chris can mute himself. And so this next hymn is Eagle's Wings. Now, Methodists, I know that this isn't normally one of our go-tos, but it is in our hymnal. The problem is in our hymnal, it is only the chorus is in there. And the chorus of the song, of course, is, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. Now, I grew up singing this in church, thinking that Eagle's Wings was a one verse, one chorus hymn, right? And so this leads to one of the most embarrassing professional moments of my whole life. I was young and dumb. I was like 20 years old, and I got paid to sing for someone's memorial service. And the organist sent me the music, and I was like, oh, I don't need to look at any of it. I get to the church to warm up. He goes, do you want to warm anything up? I said, maybe this one piece. We warmed up one thing. I said, I got the rest of it. And we go through the whole service, and then we get where this is in the service. We get to Eagle's Wings, and I open the music, and I discover that this born and raised Methodist hymnal boy discovered that Eagle's Wings had verses. And not only did it have verses, but it had verses that were hard to sing and wordy. And this was a low professional point, but it was a high sight reading point because I got through the piece. No one knew. It was great. But I've actually ever since loved this song in its entirety. And I really, if those of you who want a sight reading challenge at home, this is your chance. You got the music in front of you. For those of you who that's not why you're here, don't worry. You get to sing one of the most singable choruses in all of hymnody about 4 times. So it goes by fast, but this is Eagle's Wings. In the shelter of the Lord, who abide in his shadow for life. Say to the Lord, my refuge, my rock in whom I trust. This is the part you know. And he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. The snare of the fowler will never capture you, and famine will bring you no fear. Under his wings your refuge, his faithfulness your shield. You know this part. And he will raise you up eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. Now here comes the hard verse. You ready? Here we go. You need not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day. Though thousands fall about you, near you it shall not come. And he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. And hold you in the palm of his hand. I think it's a super lovely, lovely little hymn. All right, now I'm going to reveal something, everybody. Here we go. Chris is in a new place of his house. Chris, where are you?
About 10 feet from where I was 3 minutes ago. Wait a minute. I'll try not to make anyone ill, but or unplug anything. Yep, there's the piano. And then over here is my home practice organ. So some of you have heard this story, but the next hymn just lends itself so much better to organ than piano. It's A Mighty Fortress. But I want to talk a little bit about this particular organ. It's again, some of you have heard this before. This is the organ that was in. Try to get part of my face on the screen here. This is the organ that was in my home church when I was growing up, the Reisterstown United Methodist Church, and the new sanctuary was built, completed, and it opened in 1974. And this 2-manual electronic organ was what was chosen to, be the instrument, the primary instrument in that room. The sanctuary was probably 3 times bigger than the old sanctuary, which did have a small pipe organ, and there was just no way that they were going to fund a pipe organ large enough to fill that room and support congregational singing and all that good stuff. So this was put in 1974, and it's, for the technology of the day, it's a pretty good instrument. It's got a fair number of stops on it. But again, it is at this point almost 50-year-old technology, so the sampling has come, a long way. The organ in our sanctuary has, much better sampled sounds, just faster computers, faster processors. Anyway, when they got when they were getting the new organ, I got a call from the organist the night before the installation was supposed to happen. It was a friend of mine, and he said, "Is there any chance you want the old organ? They're just going to take it back to the shop and probably break it up with sledgehammers." And I was like, okay. I mean, when I was the organist at this church for 10 years, I cussed this organ and fussed it for its limitations. But in terms of having a practice instrument for free, what wasn't the like? So I went up to the church that night, gave him a tentative yes. And I went up to the church with a tape measure and I started measuring. The console is about a 1/2 inch wider than any door that I had in my old house. So long story short, there was a set of sliding glass doors that we had been looking to replace. And I came home from work early the day that the organ was to be delivered. I ripped out the sliding glass doors. I'd been to Home Depot and got 2 pieces of plywood to put in its place temporarily until we got the new doors installed. So I ripped the doors out. The truck arrived with the organ. We rolled it in and got it in place in the found room. I got all the furniture put back in place. The organ was not connected and running or playing at that time, but my goal was to get everything in place before my wife, number one, got home. We had vertical blinds on the sliding glass doors that I had removed. So I put the plywood up, put the vertical blinds up, and closed the blinds. She comes in and is amazed at how everything looks. The organ's in place. It looks great in the family room. It's a really great fit. Everything was great until she went and opened the vertical blinds to reveal 2 pieces of plywood staring her in the face. So anyway, funny story, but that's how this organ came to be. There's a part 2, but I'll spare that. We'll save that for another time. So A Mighty Fortress, I think we're only going to do 2 verses of this one. We'll do verses 1 and verses 4. Oh, verse 4.
That word above all earthly powers, no thanks to them abideth. The Spirit and the gifts are ours through Him who with us sideth. Let goods and kindred go, this mortal life also, the body they may kill, God's truth abideth still, His kingdom is forever.
Well, what a treat just to hear a completely different instrument here in your own home. Quite impressive. Quite impressive.
Well, good.
We're good. That's awesome. Well, everyone, we are in the request portion of our evening. As of last week, if you go down into the comments of this video you're watching, you'll see there's a link to the UMC hymnal with all of the hymn numbers you're going to need. And I hope you make lots of great suggestions while we're waiting, because we know there's a bit of a delay. Some people get in an early request, and we love those early requests. So if you want to shoot us an email or get to the chat early and put that in there, that'd be great. The first tune that we had an early request of, and I had an idea for it. Riley Williams said it's spring, and even though it's raining today, the rain will bring green blades. So we're going to do Now the Green Blade Riseth. I have a tambourine. I'm going to try to play tambourine and piano at the same time. And we'll see how this goes. We don't really know. This is number 311 in the Methodist hymnal, 311. Now the Green Blade Riseth. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now the green blade riseth from the buried grain, sweet that in the dark earth many days have lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. There you go. There you go. A little two ways there. Let's see if we got any requests. Let's do, every week there is someone, I know we do this hymn a lot, but can we do a verse of Joyful, Joyful? Let's do one verse of Joyful, Joyful, we adore thee.
89.
Always doing a little.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Okay. Just verse 1.
Awesome. There's another, every week we get a request for this one too, and I don't see any reason not to do it. I'll take this one. Let's do a verse of we'll do a verse of It Is I, Lord. What number is that, is the question? Oh, is it Here I Am, Lord?
Here I Am, Lord is
593.
593, yeah.
I'll do a verse of this one. It is a favorite of many. Every week someone requests. So this is verse 1 of Here I Am, Lord. Make sure I'm unmuted. Oh, yeah. I, the Lord of sea and sky, and sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. Always a great one. Always good. All right, let's see if there's anything else. So Chris, this could be one we look at next week. And you might notice, you know the tune Lord of the Dance, right?
Yeah.
Is it in here somewhere?
Yeah.
Is it in here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can do a verse of Lord of the Dance, everybody.
I should know what number this is. Yeah, we can do that.
I love Lord of the Dance. We got that as a request. This is the most exciting part,
There it
everyone.
is, 261.
261.
I knew it was in the 200s. It's after or close to the Easter section.
Yeah, 261, everybody. Lord of the Dance, there it is. All right, here we go. Chris, take it away.
Okay.
Chris, you just muted yourself.
No?
Now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he.
I think that I'll confirm this and report back next week that the last general conference before this hymnal was published, which would have been 1988, there were a bunch of requests that came to the floor, include this hymn, shot down. This was the only hymn or song that was, accepted and kind of a last minute addition to this hymnal back in the late 80s. I'll confirm that, but I think I do remember my pastor talking about that years ago.
I love it. I love it. I did it for the first time. It's been a Lutheran memory moment for me. I was Lutheran church job for many years, Bethel Lutheran Church in Middleburg Heights. I loved it there. Great people. And that was one of our favorites we did there. All right, so we're going to keep going with our printed hymns. The next one I'm going to take is How Great Thou Art. I know I've talked a lot about Elvis hymns, I guess is what I call them or not. This is one, again, if you go on YouTube later tonight, there's sweaty middle-aged Elvis just giving it his all on this, and it's pretty fun to watch. But I love this hymn so much. We're gonna do all verses. I'm gonna take it at a briskish tempo where it's not gonna be a dirge, and so we're gonna have fun with this one tonight. Here we go. How Great Thou Art. I'm so paranoid. I'm oh, here. Here we go. Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the world thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout when through the woods and forest glades I wander and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees. When I look down from lofty mountain grandeur and hear the brook and feel the gentle breeze. All right, sing it out, people. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. We're on verse 3, you got this. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Okay, now this verse is great. You got this. Here we go. At when Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Here we go, people. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. I love it. You know, again, it hits me in a right in the heart space there for me for some reason. I love that one. Well, Chris, the next hymn is also, I think, a favorite at BUMC and one I remember growing up. But this is "Your Love, O God." Take it away, Chris.
Yeah, this is one that I learned obviously when the new hymnal, not so new anymore, came out 30 years ago. The hymn itself is actually older than I am, but that's still contemporary by as far as some hymns go. So, "Your Love, O God," I actually heard. I was at an event in Santa Fe, I think it was Santa Fe, back in the late 90s, and there's a gentleman named of Tex Sample, who's a pastor, has worked for the United Methodist Church and Society, various boards, and he was the keynote speaker at this event, and he was talking about parts. It was definitely Santa Fe, because he was talking about the Santa Fe Trail, and in parts of the Santa Fe Trail is actually 6 miles wide, and the visual that he put, he associated with that visual, what if our churches were all inclusive and 6 miles wide, like parts of the Santa Fe Trail? So, "Your Love, O God." We'll try to do all 4 verses. If I decide to change my mind halfway through, I'll call them out as we go.
Your love, oh God, is broad like beach and meadow, wide as the wind and our eternal home. You leave us free to seek you or reject you. You give us room to answer yes or no. Your love, oh God, is broad like beach and meadow, wide as the wind and our eternal home.
Verse 2.
We long for freedom where our truest need is given hope and courage to unfold. We seek in freedom space and scope for dreaming, and look for ground where trees and plants can grow. Your love, oh God, is broad like beach and meadow, wide as the wind and our eternal home.
Third verse.
But there are walls that keep us all divided. We fence each other in with hate and war. Fear is the bricks and mortar of our prison. Our pride of self, the prison coat we wear. Your love, oh God, is broad like beach and meadow, wide as the wind and our eternal home.
Last verse.
Oh, judge us, Lord, and in your judgment free us, and set our feet in freedom's open space. Take us as far as your compassion wanders, among the children of the human race. Your love, oh God, is broad like beach and meadow, wide as the wind and our eternal home.
I feel like I'm seeing some of this text for the first time, because as the organist, I typically just, I'll glance at a word here and there just to cue into what verse we're on. But this is a whole different ball game, getting the notes and all the words. And we've done pretty well tonight getting the words correct, Max.
Yeah, I wish someone was keeping an accuracy tally for us.
Oh, that's okay.
I would want it. There's no sports right now, and so maybe the stats of the week are how many words Max and Chris get wrong at him. Anyway, y'all, so for our last one, you'll see that it is, and some of you might be wondering if I've lost my mind, but it's Kumbaya, which is a tune I think we all know or learned at some point in our childhood of some kind. And, this Gail Smith, again, beloved Gail Smith, requested this a couple weeks ago, and it stuck in my head. And I just kept singing it and thinking it in my head. And I'm like, and I've been learning the ukulele, and I'm like, this is the perfect ukulele song. And then tonight, it's like, what are we going to close out with? And this song came into my head because every one of you at home right now can sing it. And in our hymnal, as you see it printed, we got 6 verses here, each of them just for something else. And when I read Kumbaya, my Lord, then I hear someone's praying, someone's crying, someone needs you, someone's singing, let us praise the Lord. That just felt really simply profound to me. And Chris, I love how you talked about seeing the text for the first time, because it is, as many of you, what I love about being a singer and being involved in vocal music is we get words, and that allows us to express things in a way that sometimes pure instrumental music can't. And so it's actually April, and today's the last day of April, is National Poetry Month, National Poetry Month. And today is National Poem in Your Pocket Day. And I'm a big fan of poetry, even without music. And so I thought I'd read a quick poem before we end. And this poem occurred, I've known this poem for years, but something about it combined with Kumbaya really struck me. So we're going to read a little poem, we'll sing a little Kumbaya, and then we'll send you into your day. Weirdly enough, y'all, we made the sun come out. I don't know about you, Chris, but there's a little sun shining. Not by you. Well, down here in Bethesda, there's a little sun coming out. I think it's coming your way. Anyway, here's the poem. It's called Happiness by Raymond Carver. Here it is. So early, it's still almost dark out. I'm near the window with coffee and the usual early morning stuff that passes for thought, when I see the boy and his friend walking up the road to deliver the newspaper. They wear caps and sweaters, and one boy has a bag over his shoulder. They are so happy. They aren't saying anything, these boys. I think if they could, they would take each other's arm. It's early in the morning, and they are doing this thing together. They come on slowly. The sky is taking on light, though the moon still hangs pale over the water. Such beauty that for a minute, death and ambition, even love doesn't enter into this. Happiness. It comes on unexpectedly and goes beyond really any early morning talk about it. So let's have a little happiness with Kumbaya, people. Here we go. I'll get you in the key. Ready? What should be our intro? Here we go, y'all. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's praying, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's praying, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's praying, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's crying, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's crying, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's crying, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Someone needs you, Lord, Kumbaya. We all need you, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone needs you, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. We got this one. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Let us praise the Lord, Kumbaya. Let us praise the Lord, Kumbaya. Let us praise the Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Anyway, I hope you sang along to that. I hope you go sing it and annoy your family with it. And I hope you have an amazing day. Chris is going to play us out again. Here at BUMC, we're offering all sorts of online events here during the week. Of course, we have worship at 10 a.m. Sunday. It's Young Adult Sunday. We got some cool music coming your way, a great guest preacher, one of our young adults, and we're excited to present that to you. Also, We have even song worship on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and the hymn sing, of course, on Thursdays. If you want to be musically involved during this time of social distancing here at BUMC and you don't know how to do it, please reach out to Chris and myself. We're trying to create some things, but if you have a great idea or if you have a great song you know how to play, we would love to hear you. So anyway, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody.
Max. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
So great. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have a great night. See ya.
See you all next week.